Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 49th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Chennai Super Kings taking on the Punjab Kings in the MH Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. And for the fifth consecutive time, Punjab has beaten CSK, joining the Mumbai Indians as the only team to have beaten CSK 5 times consecutively. In addition, Punjab beats CSK in Chepak, handing CSK their second loss at home this season. And Punjab, wins this game pretty comfortably by 7 wickets, 13 balls remaining. However, this was not a big enough of a net run rate boost or a net run rate damager for either team. So in terms of the points table, nothing really changed. In terms of the match itself, it was one of those win the toss, win the game sort of matches because the pitch behavior was drastically different between the first innings and the second innings. It was just absolute night and day. Ruturaj Gaikwad, after losing his 9th toss in 10 matches, was put into bat, and there was a lot of swing. CSK has been one of the more risk-averse teams in the power play this season, and that approach served them well because for the first time this entire tournament, they had a 50-run opening stand. And here's the thing, there was a lot of swing, the ball was moving, Arshdeep Singh was getting the ball to move away from both Ajinkya Rahane and Ruturaj Gaikwad. So CSK was just really waiting on those loose deliveries. Credit to the Punjab bowlers, they did not give CSK a lot of loose deliveries to work with. And they finished the power play with 55 runs, which is solid. But it's only solid if you can build off of it. CSK could not build off of it. Instead, the spinners, Harpreet Brar and Rahul Chahar, were both extremely economical for Punjab. Neither player went over on a ball. And combined, they took 4 wickets and only gave up 33 runs in 8 overs. So, to put that into perspective, CSK scored 162. Meaning, outside of Harpreet Brar and Rahul Chahar, CSK scored 130 in 12 overs. So, everybody else got pumped, except for those two. And that was ultimately the difference. There was a lot of grip and turn after the power play for the spinners to exploit. And it also shows in CSK's batting effort because aside from Ruturaj Gaikwad, nobody could really find the middle of the bat relatively consistently. A lot of people were just either finding edges or just tapping the ball along, getting it to a fielder. And because of the way the spinners bowled, there were a lot of dot balls, which is not something you normally see with CSK. What you also don't see is from the end of the power play to around the 15th, 16th over, I don't exactly remember, CSK did not have a single boundary come off the bat. They had a span of 55 deliveries, so that's 9.1 overs, where they did not score a single boundary off of the bat. That should tell you the type of bowling that Rahul Chahar and Harpreet Brar were doing. That is excellent. To the point where you're not even giving any sort of width, any sort of room for the batters to be able to find gaps or just find a loose ball to put into the stance. CSK didn't hit their first 6 until the 16th over. Again, excellent bowling. The Punjab bowlers understood the conditions well, and it paid off. CSK was restricted to 162, and it was chased down with relatively little trouble. Johnny Bairstow and Riley Rousseau did the brunt of the work in the earlier portions of the innings, and Dew set in a little early. It set in around maybe 2 to 3 overs left in CSK's innings, and it carried through into Punjab's. And when there's Dew, you're not going to be able to use their spinners, which already puts CSK at a disadvantage because Deepak Chahar got injured 2 balls into CSK's defense of this total. And here's the thing, just like with the first innings, there was some swing. There wasn't as much swing as, say, there was in the first innings, but there was some swing. You had players like Gleeson. You had Richard Gleeson, who was able to swing the ball. He came in today in place of Matisha Patirana, who was injured, and Shadul Thakur, who came in place of Tusha Deshpande, who was also dealing with something. So Gleeson was able to get the ball swinging to all sorts of places. He had Johnny Bairstow in a blender. But unfortunately, when you don't really have that much runs on the board and you're not really getting some support at the other end. And Johnny Bairstow and Riley Rousseau weathered the storm of Pradyumna Singh's wicket being earlier on in the innings, and they just carried on. They just carried on. It wasn't too much of an issue. Shashank Singh and Sam Curran, by the time they came in, it was run a ball, so they just knocked the ball around and got it done. Simple as that. And it was one of those straightforward chases where Punjab got ahead of the run rate early. They had a very strong start. They were going at 10 runs and over by the time the first 10 overs were done. So, and when you're chasing 163 and you already score 100 in the first 10, you don't really have to do much. And Punjab really didn't have to do much. And again, the dew really put a hamper in CSK's plans, as well as the injury to Deepak Chahar. Nobody knows the severity of the injury yet. That's one of those things where we're still waiting on more information. But when you're already kind of up against a wall, and including the fact that because of CSK's earlier wicket collapse, they lost 3 wickets in relatively quick span. They lost, and there was a weird batting shuffle too, actually. So Shivam Dube was promoted to number 3 because the first wicket fell outside the power play. Then you had Ravindra Jadeja at 4, and then you also had Samir Rizvi coming in as an impact sub. So again, a lot of really just moving around of players for seemingly no reason. And from there, it's just, what do you do? Because CSK kind of really needed that extra bowling option, especially with Chahar getting hurt. Not having that bowling option really hampered them. And the pitch completely just changing conditions also didn't help. But that's one of those things where you just have to live with it and deal with it. If you're CSK, nothing necessarily was wrong with your approach, but you have to be relatively irritated with how your experienced batting lineup did not play to their experience. When the batting collapse was on, someone should have tried to arrest it instead of trying to play more shots and getting dismissed. And so that, again, hampers your scoring output. So Punjab has a uphill battle to climb just to make the playoffs. CSK is still sitting in 4th despite the loss today, but they're in a bit of a sticky situation because another loss or two and nothing's in their hands. Because right now, they're still in control of their own destiny for the most part. A couple losses here and there for a couple of other teams, and they're in. But the easiest way to get in is to win the rest of your games. So CSK has a job to do. So does Punjab. And once again, playoff race is shaking up, and it's fun. With that, thank you so much for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I'll be back with the next one. Have a good one.